John Meadows has passed away. First off, my condolences to his wife and children. He was only a 49-year-old man. It's very sad. This video is not going to be a criticism or a review on anabolic steroid related medical issues acutely, because it's just not relevant. Because if you look at John's life, it was an incredible life. What an incredible man. I did a lot of research for this one, guys, because I didn't know John personally at all, but of course I know who he is. So again, I want to be very, very careful on this, but I am here as the anabolic doc and here to provide protection to people in the world, obviously, that are using steroids. And John was very honest and open about that. So let's do a review of what might have happened to John and how we could learn from this. Again, my condolences go to his family, but I have to do this because I have to bring protection and learning to the world. Most of my information is going to come from an interview in the past 6 months or so by Generation Iron, where Vlad asked John directly what happened last year, May of 2020, when John had a heart attack. And he talked directly about the details, exactly what happened. So I'm going to break this down for you guys. Very complicated, okay? So this is definitely not where anabolic steroids has led to someone dying, in my opinion, directly in the acute setting. Not at all. So John has a health history of a genetic hypercoagulable state he talks about, which I don't know exactly particularly what that is, but he mentions that. So genes are a big play here, as they are for any of us. And when you have a history, that's a huge piece of what a doctor does, asking about your family history, right? Because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and we have to understand what that can be to help people stay protected. So John talks about in 2005, he had a rare condition, which is rare, and I did read into it. It's an occlusive mesenteric vein animal hyperplasia, very complicated, never even heard of it until I researched it with John, where he had his whole colon removed in 2005. So that was devastating to him, and that was very rare, and that definitely is not from steroids. Let's get that straight right there. Despite that, John came back from that, and that's why people love him. John came back with incredible persistence and strength, and he came back despite that to be the man that he was. That was a long time ago, right? 2005. So John came back and beat that despite not having a colon. That's incredible, right? And the physique the guy built up, and even competed, and he was an incredible guru and coach. So beyond that, and after that, John got very big and strong, and he was very honest about that he did use some steroids, obviously. Now, what happened last year, May of 2020, John suffered a heart attack. I want to go into the details. Now, this comes right out of John's mouth. This is exactly what John told Vlad on the interview that you could see from Generation Iron, where he had chest pain, he had the arm pain, he went to the ER, they obviously worked him up for a heart attack, he went to the cath lab, he had an angiography, and it turned out that he was having a heart attack. But what was different than a standard heart attack is that he didn't have much plaque, supposedly, in his left anterior descending artery, which is the widowmaker, interestingly enough, where most men you could see get plaque in the artery. But he had a thrombus, he had a clot in there, and the doctors made a decision to give him medicine and just protect him, and to just supply him with an opportunity in the hospital to stay protected and to have his body get over what happened. That's what they do. they talked about using clot busting medications. So this is called acute coronary syndrome. They didn't do a bypass. I don't think they even put a stent in because he didn't have anything to stent. He had a clot in there. Again, this is pretty rare stuff, guys. And this is cardiology, interventional cardiology, actually. But John did say that during that hospital stay, his ejection fraction, which is the left ventricle, guys, and the function of it, was significantly decreased because of the heart attack. So the area of that left intercenter artery feeds is a major part of the apex of the heart, the left ventricle, and it was shocked and it was affected, and therefore John had a clot, a thrombus, a clot inside his left ventricle, which is very dangerous. So they talked to him about that. He sat in the hospital for a period of recovery and went home. Again, with having that low ejection fraction, John said that the doctors talked about putting an implantable defibrillator in, because if your ejection fraction is underneath 35%, which is low, it's potentially dangerous for sudden cardiac death. Again, I'm telling you guys all this because this is exactly what John said. He didn't say these exact medical terms. I'm interpreting what John said. John's a very smart man, not a doctor, but he certainly was very eloquent on understanding and communicating what happened to him in the hospital. He went home, he took time to recover, and he went back to the gym. And he did talk about that he was on testosterone. He was on TRT, obviously. And the doctors asked him, one of his cardiologists asked him to stop testosterone. And John, I thought, was excellent the way he said to the doctor, "Doctor, I'm going to need testosterone. I'm on 150 milligrams a week. It's not that much. It's a TRT dose," and I agree with him on that. And he wasn't using the big steroid doses in the past and so on and so forth. But the doctors said, "We want you off testosterone." And John actually showed the doctor after 30 days that his testosterone went low, and it went down to 51. John said 51 nanograms per deciliter, because I just watched this information last night for this video. So he showed the doctor that he has low testosterone. So guys, when you use steroids and testosterone even, and you come off it, your natural production is gonna have a tough time coming back, especially when you're older, especially if you've been on testosterone or steroids for a long time. So John knows this, and everyone in the community knows this. So John's living on testosterone after the heart attack last year and getting back to his life. And the shock is that and I thought he was recovered too. I thought this guy does have the genes for hypercoagulable state, and he ended up having acute coronary syndrome, not plaque. John talked about that he had a calcium score, guys, and it was a low number. That's why this is so peculiar, okay? That's why I'm doing this video, because the usual stuff does not apply. So again, did steroids cause this? Not in the acute setting, no. No, that's why this is so sad. And it'd be sad anyway, even if steroids did cause this, because so many people use steroids and they love it. And I used steroids back in the day and I loved it. And who doesn't want to love it and feel like a beast and do great things? And it's a time of openness. So, but who wants to have a short life? No one does. So that's why I'm doing this. So back to John's scenario. John apparently died in his sleep the other night. And what could have happened? It could have been another heart attack. I think John was on a bunch of medicines. He talked about anticoagulation medicines and beta blockers. Obviously, he was smart to listen to the doctors, and no one knows exactly what to do, and no one can be protected. So was it a heart attack again? Possibly. Was it a pulmonary embolus? Was it from a DVT, in hypercoagulable state on the venous side? Remember, John's got a history of this with the colon. Or was it something other than this that we just don't know? It's not going to be known, but I think the DVT and the pulmonary embolus is going to be something that's going to be very common. And John also had that low ejection fraction. So when you have a low ejection fraction, and he's a beast, he came back and he shrugged it off and he looked like he was healthy and working and everything, but did he have a low EF? And with that low EF, that is a potential. That's why the doctors wanted to put in that defibrillator for having sudden cardiac death. It's called cardiac arrest. So those are the three scenarios, guys. And I want this to be shown how complicated this is. So, okay, my message to you guys is that if you're going to be on steroids or even testosterone, like in this case, I want you to stay protected. Here's what you can do. Get a good family history. And none of this stuff, who knows if it could have helped John? Who knows? This is all going to be water under the bridge now. Get a good family history. If you have early hypercoagulable states for blood clots in the legs and pulmonary embolisms and rare conditions, you're going to want to know it because of things you can do to stay protected. If you have arterial disease and hypercoagulable state which leads to early heart attack or stroke, you're going to want to know that. These are completely different, but there's a shared etiology, guys. I think everyone should get, at around the age of 30, echocardiography, especially if you're on steroids or even testosterone. I think the calcium score is of merit. John loved all this stuff. The incredible thing is that John used technology and it was very advanced as far as getting scanned and checked. And he was on medicine, so kudos to John. But obviously nothing's perfect. So get the calcium score, get the echo, check your blood pressure. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys the medicines right now, depending on who you are, and you can get on my app, and I'm not here to show it off per se, but I'm here to tell you that you have to understand medical information, and the doctors just may not know it, especially regarding androgens and the interplay of these very, very complex medical situations and how you could use steroids or testosterone to stay protected, because I'm not here to give a blessing on steroids, but I'm here to protect. It's called harm reduction. So if you're hypertensive, there's a bunch of medicines you could use just to keep your blood pressure pretty near perfect, okay, and feel great. And if you do that, that's harm protection to me. Next, hypercoagulable states, again, there are things you can do. I'm not sure you want to live on anticoagulation, but maybe low-dose aspirin, and make sure you have a doctor. Hyperlipid state, this is going to be the common stuff. There are medicines called statins. Again, I wouldn't be very careful mixing statins and steroids, not to mention oral steroids, for the implications on the liver physiology or pathophysiology. So you got to be careful with that. Just don't do this stuff, but understand, research it, and know what you have. That's the key. So there are PCSK9 drugs. I'm giving information right now, guys. Pay attention to this. This is going to be the future, the now and the future. PCSK9, Repatha, Praluent, where they're monoclonal antibodies, and they significantly reduce lipids. I'm on them, okay, because I don't want to take too much statin. And my LDLs can go as low as 20s to 40s. And it doesn't affect my brain thinking, but it does protect me from having a heart attack. And I'm giving the information. ACE inhibitors, again, statins, carefully with these drugs. What else? What else? I love metformin. If you're indeed maybe older like me and you're a little almost getting pre-diabetic, not to mention there are going to be protective aspects to metformin. Hypercoagulable states, you're going to have to be diagnosed again, like I said, but I think the basics are going to be blood pressure, cholesterol, and then pre-diabetes state. I also love Vascepa. I love Vascepa. It's a pharmaceutical grade fish oil. It's an EPA derived sole agent itself, and the processing and manufacturing of this drug is particularly unique and protective for people that have heart disease. So with that said, guys, that's what I want to share. And life is a beautiful thing, and you want to preserve it, and you want to stay strong and healthy for as long as you can. And this is what I'm doing in my life. Is I'll be 57 this year, and my heart goes out to John's family and everyone in the community, because John was a super great dude. And you know, God bless John. I never want to have this come off as a bad way, guys. I want this to come off in a great way to provide protection going forward and harm reduction. So I really hope this helps you guys. If you want to give some comments about John and how beautiful he was and incredible he was, or anything you want to say about your own health, that would be great. Your medicines, and again, take notes on the medicines I mentioned, guys, and go see your healthcare providers. And learn the stuff. You can get on Anabolic Doc app and interface with me when we're in there, and you can see the medical information. So thank you so much, guys. I really hope this helps. Thank you.